I need for you to stay to the end of this because we're talking about the hard, very hard truth about credit repair. Now, because I'm live, I do have to change some settings, so I am going to go and do that real quick. But while I'm doing that, what you can do for me is smash that like and subscribe if you haven't done so, because look, it's totally free for me to give you this content and take my time away from my family and my clients, and it's totally free for you to smash that like and subscribe. All right, not only should you be subscribing, but you should also be hitting that bell for notifications, because obviously when I go live you need to be notified, right? So why are we doing this? Well, first of all, I've been going live a lot lately because I have a lot to say and you have a lot to learn. I mean, there's no harm, no foul, right? And fair exchange is not considered robbery, right? So now, what other people want for you to believe is that it's as simple as, just disputing a couple of things and you get them removed, right? It doesn't matter if it is a collection, a charge off, a repo. If it's on your credit report, they think that it's really as simple as sending out a dispute letter that says, pursuant to something, you're required to remove it from your credit report. And that is not true. And I need for you to understand that that's not true, because it's going to allow you to break out of this thing, this box that they've put you in, and to truly, seriously, really be able to remove your, negative items from your credit report. Okay. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to actually share my screen after I fix my camera, which is a little bit sideways here. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go over a couple of different things from my course that's going to shed a little bit of light on the actual truth that you need to know about credit repair. And I'm talking about credit repair, credit restoration, credit sweeps. I don't care what term or what box you put it in. This is the stuff that you really, 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 really need to know. Okay. Now, if you go and you look, just do a little bit of research, and I'm talking about specifically YouTube. This is literally the only place that this exists, right? If you go and you do a little bit of research, you're going to see that the videos with the most views are the ones that purport to have these overnight processes, right? It's super fast, it's guaranteed, it's overnight, it's like, a get rich quick 1, 2, 3 type of deal. And as an adult that has taken all this time, your whole life, your whole adult life, after high school, however long it took you to establish the things that you should have the common sense to be like, dude, I know that it's not just a super simple process. I know that I'm not going to be able to just dispute these things and get them removed, right? I mean, how long did it take you to get to your position at your job? How long did it take you to get your car? Did you finance it? Did you have to save money for, a year to be able to get it? How long did it take you to initially establish your credit report, your credit score, your credit history? Was it 6 months? Was it a year? Was it 5 years? And then how long did it take you to totally and completely screw it up? I'm talking about from start to finish, having that, first 30-day late payment all the way to now, where you have, whatever you have, late payments only, or collections and charge offs, repossessions, bankruptcy. How long did it take you to do that? And then now you're at a point where you're going and you're looking for these really, really quick, like I said, overnight fixes. And I'm here to tell you right now, in this moment, it does not exist. There's nobody that can change my mind about this. I've been doing this for 12 years. I literally have 12 years changing lives, right? That's what I do. What I do for a living is I change lives, because otherwise, if I didn't fix your credit report, if I didn't go and get you that score, you're not going to have that house. You wouldn't have that car. You wouldn't have that money. You wouldn't have that job. You wouldn't have these different things that you do now, because I went and did that, right? So I fix credit for a living. I help people to change their lives, right? And it's a time consuming process, right? So what you have to do is you have to look at all of the facts in front of you. And to me, these things scream, it takes time. It takes time. And yes, I'm telling you a bunch of crap that you don't want to hear. I'm telling you things that, as a business, right? Just look at it from the other perspective. As a business, I would have to say that if there were a way to give you exactly what you want, that quick process, that microwave society, unicorns and rainbows type of deal, don't you think I would give it to you. Don't you think that I'd be the first to jump on that bandwagon and say, fastest process, guaranteed process, overnight process, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't exist though. It does not exist except for right here on YouTube. What happened? COVID happened. And then guess what? All these different people popped out of the works with their 14 days and their 7 days and their 30 days. First, it started at 9 to 12 months. You're going to take, to fix your credit. Then it went to 6 months. Then it went to 45 days or 60 days. Then it went to 30 days. And now we're talking about only a matter of 1 to 2 weeks. And hey, your life is totally and completely totally changed and you can move on and get these loans and these houses and blah blah blah. And if you have been with me for the past couple of days while I've been going live, and you can find them archived under lives or under my regular uploads, you know that this is exactly what we've been talking about, because it's literally a mindset that you have to be able to break out of this mold. And there's only one way to do this. There's one way to go through. It's not going around or under or over. You got to break through that wall and you got to say enough is enough. Today is the day that I'm going to change. I'm going to be thinking as an adult, have common sense, and do this the right way. Okay? So dude, it like you have no idea. Yes, I'm adamant. Yes, I'm frustrated. Yes, I'm passionate because I have 8 years right here explaining and showing and proving to you that there is no fast way. I wish it were as simple as giving you what you want, because I would be the first person to do that. Okay, so we're going to talk about the conflict of interest. I'm going to show you directly out of my course the conflict of interest, the actual process to what happens at the credit bureaus, right? Because it's literally impossible. If you just understood the process just straightforward, it's literally impossible to submit your dispute and then all of a sudden you have it removed. No, the bureaus are the ones that make money off of your information, my information, her information, his information, and their job is to keep it on your credit report. So, I mean, would you let's say you put all your family members in a room, right? You go to, I don't know, Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, and you're sitting there at this table and you're like, hey, you know what, guys, family, my loved ones, I have something to share. And, no, I'm not pregnant, I'm not getting married, but what I do have is something that is literally going to change your life. What I can do for you is tell you to stop paying your bills, stop paying for your credit cards and your houses and your loans and all these different things, your utilities. Who cares about the utilities and your cell phone and your, electricity? Because you can just get it removed from your credit report and then go to another company and get more credit. Dude, you would be that person that is literally getting your ass kicked right out of Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner, right? They would look at you like you have 7 heads and 15 eyes, right? Like a freaking Martian. Because if you just listen to the words that come out of your mouth, 30 days, I can literally sweep under the rug everything that I have done wrong with my credit. And then guess what? I'm going to do it all over again. You would have to probably say, as a grown ass adult, that unfortunately that's not something that is true. So I'm sure that if you clicked on this video, then you're probably thinking that it's something else that we're talking about. But guess what? These are the things that you really need to know. These are the things that are going to change your ability to get results. These are the things that are going to allow you to get that mortgage or those vehicles or, whatever it is that you need to get. Okay. But what I want you to start thinking about is how much effort and time and money you invested into yourself to have these things that you do, even if you're only talking about work, right? Are you like a lower level employee, you just started there, or did you have to, spend 4 years working your way up through the ranks? Like, every single thing has a process. And if you just take criminal court as an example, and this is a perfect example, I don't know if you've been arrested or you got in trouble or you know anything about the criminal justice system, but let's say that you are innocent and you get in trouble and you go to prison. They indict you and then, you go to trial and you blow trial. Whatever happens, you go to prison, but you're innocent. Does that mean that you just automatically get up and open up those doors and walk out? Hell to the fucking no. Dude, you got to go through a process. You literally have to, number one, get proven to be innocent, right? But then number two, maybe you have to go to the appellate division, and the appellate division is going to say, this or that. And then maybe you have to go to federal court, which is the very last step to it. just because you're innocent means nothing because there's a process to doing that, right? Just the same as with credit, if if there is a violation, they didn't respond within 30 days, or a creditor didn't respond within 30 days to the bureaus. Just because they didn't respond, it doesn't mean anything. You have to do something to get them to, enforce this violation, right? So just because they didn't respond, I don't care. I don't care that the FCRA states that they're required to respond within a specific period of time. Who are you and what are you going to do to force that? It doesn't automatically come off. No, you have to take further steps and move on and dispute and complain to be able to enforce this violation, this law, for them to remove these things from your credit report. Just the same as with the criminal justice system. If there is a violation of your rights, or in the violation of timely, everything with the criminal justice system is timeliness, but there's a violation of timeliness, or there's a problem with it, or the DA did something, or the government, or whatever, you have to submit writs and all these types of things so that you can get whatever it is that you're trying to get, right? So if they hold you too long, like let's say that you're 30, they have 180 days to send you from downstate in, New York to, upstate to the actual, prison system, right? But they keep you 181 days. It doesn't automatically mean that now you're going to be able to just walk out of here. No, you have to submit a writ. You have to get an attorney. You have to do this. You have to do that. You can go through a process, and the entire time you're still just sitting there, right? So this is exactly the same thing. And when you start thinking about it the right way, you will be able to leverage this and maximize this process and get these things removed. But the key word here is process. The truth about this system is that it is a process. And you can think about all these different systems that we have working against us, right? If you get a divorce, you have to go to family court. Maybe you get in trouble with the law, you have to go to criminal court. Maybe all these different systems, all literally everywhere that you think of in America, there are systems, and this system is also against us. These laws were not made for us. These laws were made for the banks and the creditors and the collectors because they all work together. Okay, that is something that I want for you to think about. All right, and yes, I have my notes right here. Okay, so I'm going to now share my screen with you, and we're going to look at just that one thing on the conflict of interest. I actually have an entire video about this, but let's go and let's look at the conflict of interest here. So I made it as big as I possibly could here, but as you may have realized now, there's somewhat of a conflict of interest for the bureaus, right? And that they are solely responsible for the accuracy of data, but they profit considerably from inaccurate data, right? So in case you're keeping track, we're going to outline a couple of things here, okay? So the credit bureaus are in the data business, right? So subprime data, bad credit, is the most profitable for the bureaus to own and sell. So that means that the more accurate data would probably mean less data, which because there's partial matches and all that, that feature of matching algorithms would have to be trimmed down. So less data would hurt their business because they're in the business of collecting and selling it, okay? They're not in the credit repair business. They're not in the credit reporting business. They're in the data business, okay? So more accurate information would mean less concern about identity theft, less paranoid consumers, and less revenue generated from selling credit reports and identity theft related services to paranoid consumers. Example, if you go to Equifax's website, they want to sell your products, and you can go do this in your own time. Don't click out of here now because it's very, very important for you to be able to move forward with your credit and get results, okay? But if you go to their website, it literally tells you that if you don't sign up for their identity monitoring and credit, reporting services or products, that your credit may be fraud full of fraud, right? So now you're paranoid and you're thinking that your information was, sold on the dark web or whatever, right? And stricter reporting requirements would result in less data being reported and fewer errors on credit reports, and ultimately less revenue for the bureaus from selling subprime data. What is subprime data? Subprime data is probably, well, subprime is probably where you're sitting right now, right? You can't get a 3% interest rate on a mortgage. You have to get a 5% interest rate. You can't apply for, the American Express Black Card, but you may be able to get a secured 200, 300, 500, $2,000 card, right? So you are in the subprime market, and you are the ones that make them the most money, right? They are paid to report your information. So when they get that information removed from the credit report, they're no longer being paid to report this information. So they literally have a conflict of interest because you are disputing this information that they are paid to report, and they're going to lose money when it's no longer on there. So they literally have zero um, zero reason why they would want to help you. Okay. So they are not there to help you. They are not there to help you scam creditors and go, get more credit and all that kind of stuff. That is not what they're there for. They are there to make money off of your information. Okay. It would literally make life more difficult for creditors who are the bureau's main customer. All right. You are not the main customer. It is the creditor, okay? The Bureau's main customers are creditors. It is in their best interest as businesses to serve the interests of their main customers, which coincidentally aren't always in the best interest of consumers, okay? And what I want for you to do right now is to be thinking about how this correlates to not having a fast process, not having an overnight process, not having some get rich quick overnight type of deal where you can just get a crap load of things deleted from your credit report and go off into riding off into the sunset on your freaking horse. Okay, so since most people don't take the time to follow up and force the issue with the bureaus, like I was just talking about, it is often more profitable for them to ignore disputes than it is to resolve them. Okay, and through eOscar and dispute automation, consumer disputes of incorrectly reported items are closer to becoming an additional profit center. Okay, so why are we going over this? Why? What does this matter? What does any of this matter? Well, it matters because when you understand the process, when you understand who the bureaus are, when you understand that this is a system that was never designed for you to win, you'll be able to take the necessary steps that you have to be able to do so. What my question is if there's 50,000 views per each video on these videos where they're giving you these overnight processes like 7 and 14 days, why didn't those 50,000 people implement those processes and come back in 7 to 14 days and make their own videos about how in 7 to 14 days they implemented this and were able to remove all their negative items, their collections, foreclosures, repos, bankruptcy, blah, blah, blah. Why? It's because it's not real, it doesn't exist, and all they're doing is reading these laws and telling you a bunch of crap about put it in a letter. When the truth is, you don't want to put it in a letter. Dude, listen to me. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. You don't want to put it in a letter. You don't want to say anything about laws unless you're talking about a violation. And I'm not ever going to sit here and just read some law on a video. I'm going to tell you, hey, look, there's a law, and this is exactly what you need to do to implement it, to force it to get your negative items removed. Okay, there's a whole bunch of steps that are just missing from this system. Okay, and one of the things that I want you to really understand is, if we just look at a couple of numbers, for deletions and corrections and whatnot, this is going to give you a better understanding. So data modified per furniture instructions, like a correction out of a ton of different disputes, it was only 53.64%. Information verified was 22.37%. Information deleted for a per furniture instruction was only 17%, and information deleted because of the furniture failing to report within 30 days was only 6.27%. 6.27%. So that goes and strikes down all of these different courses and these videos and these people that are telling you that it's going to be fast just because they're not going to respond. Dude, 6.27%? Are you seriously? Like, are you seriously telling me that only 6.27% of people actually had their information removed because they failed to report back within 30 days? So why is it that they're telling you, oh, well, all you have to do is this and all you have to do that and blah, 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 when, hello, this is not working for anybody. And the longer we go on, the harder it is to get these things deleted because of that. You have to have an actual plan, right? You have to know exactly how something should be reported. You need to know why something, like a violation occurred and how to use it. These are the things that are going to allow you to remove the things from your credit report, not waiting for something to fall off just because someone didn't do something, right? And notice the last item, like I said, a disproportionate amount of credit repair strategies used to depend on the Bureau's failing to verify an item within a 30-day time limit set by the FCRA. I don't care that there is a law about this. You need to enforce this law. So why, instead of taking 2 years to argue about a 30-day process, why wouldn't you just find out exactly how something should be removed using factual based disputes and get that sucker removed permanently than spending all this time finding all these shortcuts that are obviously not going to work? Well, I would have to say it's because of the people right here on YouTube that are giving you the wrong information, okay? So here's the deal. Let me scroll down just a little bit to find exactly what we're looking for. Um, okay. So actually, I want to skip this and go to what happens at the bureaus. All right. So here is a rough outline of what happens at the credit bureaus as we understand it. All right. And again, there's nobody sitting in a room that is, personally opening your letters. Dude, this is all automated. There are no people. And especially since COVID happened, there's no people there, maybe only a couple of them. It is literally a process that is meant to flag you as frivolous, verify it's accurate, and get you out of here. So when you come to me and you say, why does it take so long? Why is it 6 to 8 months? Why is it 9 to 12 months? Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it take this long to remove these things from your credit report? It's only the thing that's going to get you the mortgages and these vehicles and these loans and your better job and money in your wallet and better schools for your kids and every single thing that you have different lower rates on your car insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your renter's insurance, every single thing that I could list all has to do with your credit. So obviously, just like I said in the beginning, you need to take some time to invest in yourself, just a small portion of time that you took to initially build your credit and then mess it up to be able to finally fix it. Okay. So this is the process at the bureaus. They receive your letter in the mail. Letters are fed into a system that automatically opens and scans the letters and envelopes via OCR and attempts to categorize and route them automatically, right? Keyword here is automatically. If the letter is successfully scanned, it is compared to their massive database to determine whether or not it is a canned letter. In other words, a template. These things that these people are selling to you, okay? If it is, it can be flagged as frivolous before a human ever sees it, and it is just verified as accurate, and you are just shit out of luck, all right? If the letter is not deemed frivolous, it is, if possible, automatically converted to a numerical code and communicated to the furnisher through the eOscar system. All right. So if the letter requires human interaction, it is routed to the appropriate dispute handling facility, which may or may not be in the U.S. depending on the bureaus. And this is where an hourly worker working under a quota will automatically categorize the dispute and send it to the furnisher via eOscar. So you really can't get around eOscar. All right. Now, as of this writing, Experian is the only bureau that still processes disputes in the United States. If the furnisher has an automatic or semi-automatic or otherwise brainless method of handling disputes, which many do, such as just checking that the account or similar actually, exist in their system, the bureaus will get a response back from the creditor, possibly within hours, indicating that the status of the account is in question. Because again, they are literally comparing their information, which they report to the bureaus, to what the bureaus have. Obviously, it's going to be the same, okay? Then the bureaus take the creditor response as fact and communicate it to the consumer, usually in the form of a letter. If the creditor says it is verified, the bureaus say it is verified. If the creditor corrects it, the bureaus make the adjustments accordingly. Okay. So there's no people investigating, there's none of that stuff. All right. So this is kind of like a gateway, right? So the consumer finds something horribly wrong with their credit report. The bureaus get a detailed dispute with supporting documentation from the creditor, the consumer. The bureaus make an automated attempt to find a reason to ignore or rule out the dispute, such as a stall or scare tactic. The creditor receives the Bureau's lousy numeric translation of the consumer's dispute. And remember that we said the consumer supporting documentation? That doesn't get sent. If the dispute killing attempt fails, the Bureau send a numeric code to the creditor that might barely describe the dispute, and then the creditor responds to the Bureau's. Oftentimes in the process, it is equally as worthless in terms of its effect on accuracy, and the Bureau parrots or repeats the Bureau's response to the consumer. And that, my friend, is the conclusion of the investigation. Okay, so why is this important to know? Well, again, everything has to do with processes, and understanding the truth about this process, because again, when you understand it, you can leverage it, you can make the changes that you need to and the adjustments that you need to be able to dispute the right way, right? And then eventually you will be able to get these things off your credit report, right? So now, oh God, I could go on and on and on for hours about this, but obviously we don't have hours. I need to take my kids to the zoo, so we're going to end this in a couple of minutes, okay? Now, one of the things that one of the things that goes with this that I do want to mention is these other companies and these other, let's just call them companies, okay? These other companies will just have you sign up for whatever credit repair services that they have, and they're just going to automatically import your information into their system, click a couple of buttons and spit out a letter. All right. Now, if that doesn't say, worthless, profitable, mindless to you, then I don't know what is. Would you rather be in a program where, and when I say program, I'm talking about credit repair, credit sweep, whatever program, where you are just a number on a spreadsheet and it is an automated, one size fits all, shot in the dark assembly line system? Or would you rather have somebody who is actually for the people, my people, for the people, the hardworking blue collar people that, just have enough because they work so damn hard for what they have, which is what we started talking about in the beginning, right? About how hard you work to get where you are and all that kind of stuff, right? To be able to do something that they need to. Now, I would have to say that I would probably want to be with a company that shows me the copies of the disputes, that doesn't use an automated system, that actually takes the time and manually goes through my credit report to determine the actual reason why the account needs to be removed, than to go through this aimless one size fits all process that obviously does not work. And why do I say obviously? Obviously, they're all sending out the same damn letters, okay? The only thing that separates these people are the pitch that they give you to get you to click a couple of buttons and sign up for the program. Other than that, they're sending out the same letters, okay? And you are the one that's getting caught up in this. I mean, like, if you just look at my standard monthly program, right? What I call my blue collar program, um, I charge as little as 139, right? And after all of everything that I have to actually pay to do this, right? Postage, portal, software, taxes, fees, bank fees, processing fees, merchant fees, and even things like paper, ink, and tape and envelopes, maybe I get $50 out of that. Divide that by what, 4 weeks? I mean, how much is that really? And it's actually probably like only 25. It's not even that. So the 5 hours that I actually put into a client's file when they first sign up, I don't get paid for that, right? And what if they only stay for the initial audit and, I don't get paid for the rest of the time that, I should have? That means that I definitely don't get paid for those 5 hours, but I put it into them because that is what someone is supposed to do as a business owner who does this the right way, right? So the reason I'm going over this is because it all has to do with processes. So if you want to enroll yourself into a program where they're going to send out nothing other than the same thing that they send out for every single person, that the bureaus get 1.5 million times per month, then so be it. So be it. We need to have a little bit of common sense here, all right? And I mean, with the number of people with bad credit just going up, 68 million people, that was a couple of years ago, the number is going up. And don't you think, again, going back to the views, that these 50,000, these 25,000, these 100,000, views that these people get on their videos just because it says fast process and delete everything in 7 days, delete everything in X amount of days, and use my process, but these are the things that you have to know to get it off in X amount of hours. Don't you think that that number would go down because all they have to do is plug that into Google and the video comes up and they implement the process? Dude, it doesn't exist. 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 And no, I didn't just get stuck on, it wasn't an error with my video recording process system software, okay? That was literally me telling you multiple times that it doesn't exist. So if you think that this is nothing other than just reading a couple of laws and sticking it into a dispute, then, honey, you got another thing coming to you, and you are still going to be clicking on my videos 5 years from now. All right. But if you want that house, if you want those cars, if you want a better life and you want a new lifestyle and you want money in your wallet instead of opening it up and saying, oh my God, there's nothing but receipts in here or bills in your purse, then follow me, follow me, because this is a journey. This is the journey that I'm literally taking you on, and I have the answer. My proof of concept is legit, dude. My proof of concept is legit. I took a felon who, yes, paid their debt to society and hasn't even had as much as a freaking jaywalking ticket in 10 years. Felon with no credit to having a couple of things that they needed to remove on their credit to having over $1.5 million in credit in less than 11 months. So do I know what I'm talking about? Yes, I know what I'm talking about. I removed 450 collections from my own credit report. That's why I do what I do, because I've been there. I've been the consumer, but there is a way to do this the right way. All right. If you want help fixing your credit, then head over to my740.com. The link has been on the screen this entire time. Okay. I will see if I can do this for you. But if you want to do this yourself, I either have software. You can go to links, LYNX short, SHORT.com /buy-suite. I will put the link down in the description. You can just come back and visit later. Or you can check out my Google Sheets tool. It is liveletter.ask-kristen.com. All right, both of those things will help you to fix your own credit. And I have free resources, hub.my740.com. So, do I have the answer? Yes, I have the answer, whether you want me to do it for you or you do it yourself. But I will tell you that your fastest deletions are going to be me doing it for you, because, again, I've been doing this for 12 years. I've got 8 years documented right here on YouTube. There literally has not been a week that has gone by that I have not posted a video, okay? I haven't gone anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. But this is the channel where you are going to get a little taste of reality. I'm never going to tell you the things that don't exist, that are not true. Unicorns and rainbows and leprechauns, okay? The only leprechauns that exist are the ones that are here, that are not giving you proof of services, that are not disputing all your negative items, that are not disputing all three bureaus, that are not using custom factual disputes, and that treats you as nothing other than a number, all right? So I don't want that to happen to you. But what I want for you to do is to start having common sense, putting on your big boy pants, your big girl pants, and doing this the right way. All right. So I guess that is it for right now. So I will see you later. I believe I have a video coming out at 9 o'clock tonight, Eastern Standard Time. Be there or be square. But anyways, I will see you tomorrow. Monday's always a big day business-wise, so I don't think I will go live, but I will post something for you. But that is it. I will see you later. Have a great rest of your weekend. And guess what? You can start implementing changes right now that are going to allow you to have a different life. If you want a different life, the only person that is holding you back from this is you. Okay? There are no fast, overnight, one hit wonder type of deals that only exist here on YouTube, but you're going to pay for nothing other than promises and guarantees and words. Okay? All right. That's it. One last thing is that if you want to sign up for if you actually want to sign up for a credit repair program, one of my recommendations to check to see if they are a scammer is to check CredZoo. Why is it Kredzu? Well, with Kredzu, they use, and I am with Kredzu, they use an escrow system where basically the company has zero control over the payments, and they actually have to provide all the proof of services and proof of sending and whatnot, to basically prove that they did what they were contracted to do. Whatever is in the contract, if you don't deliver it, you don't get paid. All right. So maybe you want to go over to kredzu.vargasconsultingworks.com and you can hit me up on the chat there if you want to utilize that system, because guess what, a company who is a scammer would never sign up for something where they actually have to prove this, the stuff that they're doing, because they're a scammer, right? So anywho, I'm going to stop rambling now. I will see you later. I'm going to end this. I hope you have a great day. And to the people who asked me about these two pieces of art in the background, before my father passed, he created these. This one over here is, I think it's called just the Twin Bridges. And the name on this one is, I have absolutely no idea. Let me just check it real quick. There was, this one is called Warm Thoughts, and it's an encaustic. I have many, many, many of them. My dad created all sorts of awesome pieces. He was an artist and owned a photography company and all of that. So I've got his work all over the place. All right. Well, thanks for asking to the people who did. I will see you later. And that's it. Bye.